Welcome back, guys. Out here gonna go crabbing today. Just me and my wife, and she doesn't want to be on video, so that's fine. But I am planning on doing a how-to out here in Newport, so hopefully all goes well. We already had one mishap. Somebody left my marine radio on and ran the battery down. It's been on for like 3 weeks straight, so yeah, the battery is pretty dead. So anyway, I got one pot baited so far, and I'm going out to the spot because the dock was getting a little crowded and we'd been there for a while. So I'll go out and bait them up out there, and I'll be back at you then. All right, so first pot away. I'll get the rest of these baited up and get back at you. It's a super low tide this morning. I'm gonna try not to drift up into the shallows while I'm baiting up these pots, but it's we're not very far from it, and there's people out there clamming, you can see, possibly. And yeah, right now we're in 14 feet of water, and that's a little bit less than I like to crab in, but at the same time it's a super low tide, so that's part of it. Now I brought herring and shad for bait, and the shad I just like to break, or yeah, kind of break in half, whatever. Throw them in the bags because I don't like the crabs to eat all my bait right away, you know. Throw it in a bait bag, and that'll be enough bait for this one. Hook that there. Close the top. And that one's ready to go, but I don't want to put it here because we're in shallow. We are 13 feet. You can put it up a little bit if it's not at the right place.
Well, I can't see, but it looked like you needed to be up.
That should be good there. Open this one. Probably only bait a couple of them at a time because you get these ropes loose in the bottom of the boat, and then you got tangles going on. More tangles going on, I should say. There's already, I'm sure there's already tangles. But, good old herring and shad tail. And this is still about half frozen. It'll thaw out pretty fast once it hits the salt water. Alright. After this one, I'm going to have to take off because I'm drifting up a little too close for comfort here. So one thing I try to do is look for a flat, and then where it starts to come up out of the channel, put your pot just on the low side of that, and that's where the crabs will congregate. That's a theory anyway. It's worked pretty good for me in the past. You can go out in the middle of the channel, there's crabs out there, but I don't think they're quite as congregated as they are right in the right at the edge like that. We're a little bit further than that pot, so I'll go out here again, and right here we're in 16 feet. Probably didn't see that pot hit, but if you're not catching crabs at one spot, don't be afraid to move, because sooner or later you'll find them. And if you just stay in one spot, you could crab there all day long and never find them. So don't be afraid to move if you're not catching them. And this shad and herring is all stuff that I've caught at previous times. I don't always have bait that I've caught, but I try to, when herring season and shad season is around, I like to load up on it until my freezer's full at least. Go from there. That one's baited. And also 6 pots today, because my wife has a license and I have a license. You're allowed in Oregon 3 per license per crabber. So another thing, when you are pulling pots, you don't have to wear bibs or waders or whatever, but the ropes coming in get you drenched if you're pulling a lot of pots. So it's nice to have. Like I said, you don't need them, but if you like staying dry, you probably do need them. Good old bait. As far as bait, the best I've ever found is herring and shad. You can also, if there's no sea lines around where you're crabbing, you could use salmon. You could use tuna. I use tuna out here, but the oilier the meat is that you're using, the more trouble you're gonna have with sea lines. I know down in Waldport you can't even use a fish for bait down there without getting sea lines destroying your pots. I've tried it once. Nope, they don't. You have even a piece of a fish in there and they will destroy it. Chicken works really good. Sea lines normally don't mess with chicken. Mink, they sell mink at the marina. That works really good. Sea lines won't mess with it. What else do people use? I've used beef liver, beef heart. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Pretty much anything. Peanut butter is oily. I've used that some. Don't know what to say on that because we had fish and stuff mixed in with it. It didn't hinder anything, I do know that. But yeah, I think pot placement is kind of a big deal. Like I said, just make sure that you're on either on the channel floor, close to where it starts coming up, or and if you're not catching there, try on the top of that shelf. See if that works better. I'm gonna get the rest of these pots out now. I got 2 more baited up and we're not drifting exactly where I want to be, so I'll move the boat, get them put in, and then we will go back and check the first one. Another thing on timing, how long do you leave a pot soak? In my experience, I have never had any better luck after 45 minutes of a soak in the bay. Now out in the ocean's different. In the bay, I've never had any difference after 45 minutes. Leaving them for 3 hours makes no difference. That's my experience. I usually pull them 6 pots today. We'll probably just keep looping, but probably go pretty slow. and that's about how I crab. So probably 20 to 30 minutes between pulls. We'll see how we do. Stick around. There we go, all the pots are in, so we're good to go. Alrighty guys, first pot here. Let's see what we get. We got crabs, but I don't think we have any keepers. Probably not. Nah, I'm pretty sure there's no keepers. So I will toss this one back and let it soak longer. So I'll show you this so it makes sense to you. Oregon, from right this side to right there is how big they have to be, right in front of the horns. So you put that on the shell. I'll show you once we get a keeper. That's the Oregon size, 5 3/4 inches. Washington is 6 inches or 6 1/4, depending where you are. So that's the other two notches on here. Oregon and California is 5 3/4. Pot number 2. It's a little difficult running the boat and getting the ropes. Oh, hey, there's a tangle. Let's see how many crabs get out of this pot before we get it in. I thought this was going to be an easy knot to get out, but well, phooey. At least I'm giving them a chance. There we go. Hey, there might be a keeper in that one. Seaweed, that's for sure. This is the bad thing about crabbing in the summertime. You deal with a lot of seaweed. I'll just pull that one out that may be big enough. He's probably not, but we'll give him a measure. He's a 1/8 inch short. Gotta go back, but it is a male. It's got the narrow apron. All right, well, we're getting a few. Not these haven't been soaking very long, so I'm not disappointed. Put it that way. Not disappointed. So this one is a red rock crab. They're a little different. You can keep 24 of these, either sex, any size, and this one is a female. It's got the wide apron to hold its eggs, but I don't like these, so I'm gonna throw it back. He gone. So there is a couple of these little teeny tiny ones out here still, so we'll send him back. Yes, he's alive, and he's a feisty one. Pinch me. That one's a male as well. Oh, as you can see, he fell down in amongst the bait. Come here. Let him go. Swim away there, buddy. Pot number 3. Oh. Got a decent one in here. And a red rock. I'll try to stay out of the way a little bit here so you can see what's going on. Hey, turn it loose. Turn it loose. There. Get my measure stick. And we got a keeper. Just barely. But the thing sticks. It's a keeper. One keeper. Whoops, leg fell off. Another thing to check for is how soft they are. This one is really soft. You can also squeeze right up under, keep out of the way of the claws, but if you squeeze right up under the legs here, you can tell if they're soft or not if they give. That actually doesn't much, but the legs are soft, so I'm gonna throw this one back. It's I don't like the soft ones because there's just not that much meat in them, so we'll go for a little harder ones. As far as tides and which tide is best to crab in, be honest with you, I like crabbing on the incoming tide because you don't deal with as much of this stuff, but you want the water to be moving a little bit because that disperses the scent. So we are out in the middle of the channel. I'll just throw this one out here just for kicks and giggles to see what goes on out here. Another teeny tiny little crab. Throw him back so he can grow up to be a big one. But yeah, water, you want it to be moving a little bit. Right now the tide is starting to come in. You don't want it just rushing because then it's going to move your pot or hold the door open or whatever, unless you have a pretty stout pot. But yeah, that is what I think about tides. And obviously this is just what I think about it. There's other people with other opinions. They're probably right on a lot of things too. So pot number 4. I also like pulling pots fast, just in case a door is hung up or whatever, then they won't get out as easily. But with these traps, you should be able to just pull them up as slow as you want to and they still can't get out, but it doesn't always work that way. I don't think there's any keepers. There is a lot of seaweed though. Just about missed that one. Last one on first round. Got some weight, but I think it's probably weed. Oh, it's big crabs too, but it was weed. We got, see, how'd that one get out? And that one, I don't know. That is a keeper, and it's a hard shell. One down, and it's a male. So the way I keep these after I keep them, I got ice in here. I freeze. Yeah, that's broke. I freeze chunks of ice in old Cool Whip containers, and then I That one's an 1/8 too small. This door is stuck open. See, that is why you want to pull them fast. That one's way too small. You do want to stay away from their claws because they hurt. Too small. But ice, and then I mix salt water with it out of the bay, and that makes it really, really cold. And I know people yell at me all the time for doing that because, oh, you can't put water with them, they're gonna drown, they don't run out of oxygen. I have never had a crab die in that water because they go dormant. They don't use oxygen much. And when they go dormant, they can stay alive for even a couple days. If you can't get to them to clean them or whatever, leave them on ice. If you're gonna leave them for a few days though, I would suggest draining the water out and just leaving them on ice, because then they will stay dormant. They could possibly run out after a few days, run out of oxygen. But right now I'm not going to put water in there. This is why it stayed open. It was on the bait bag. Just chuck this in right here. This is out kind of in the middle of the channel, but it was when I picked it up too, and it did pretty good, so we'll leave it out here. Maybe out in the middle is better today. We will see. A couple stowaways here, I gotta get them out. So I decided not to record, and of course it's the best pot so far. We got some dandies up in this one. Let's see if I can get myself pinched. So that one's way, way huge. Like, that one's bigger than the biggest Washington legal. It's over 6 1/4. There's still at least one more in here. So that's 2, and maybe. There might not be another keeper in here. But this one's soft. I bet he could still pinch. I bet he could. It's a keeper. He's soft though. I'm gonna throw it back. I'm not looking to take a whole lot of them home today. You're allowed in Oregon, you're allowed 12 per person, but we don't need 24 crabs. What in the world do you ever do with 24 crabs? Oh yeah, we're starting to pick them up now. Starting to pick him up. That one kind of hurt himself, I think. That'll teach him for getting out. We got a great big female up in here. So that's a big female white apron. Not quite. This one's definitely a keeper. Oh yeah. Number 3 for today. Not quite. I think that's it. Yep. And, oh, there's a big one. There's a big one. Right there, that's a monster. Oh, I should turn the camera back to where you can see it a little bit. That one's not a keeper. That one's not a keeper. This little bitty guy is not a keeper. This one's definitely a keeper, and he's a hard kill. Always measure them. You'll keep yourself out of a lot of trouble if you always measure them. That was a keeper. That's number 4 for today. Actually, it would have been number 6 if we'd have kept them, all the soft-shelled ones. It's not illegal to keep the soft-shelled ones in Oregon, but I just don't like them that well. So, I mean, it's the same amount of work for a lot less meat is all. Alright. It's getting pretty windy out here. Oh boy. There's a big one. Boy, I don't like all this weed. Don't like it at all. You gonna be nice to me? Oh yeah, you're gonna be nice to me. There's a nice crab right there. And that's one. Got 2 escapees back here. Where'd the other big one go? I think it shrunk. He's still a keeper though. He might have shrunk, but he didn't shrink enough. Missing a couple claws. So that is 2, 4, 6. Half a limit. Half of one limit. Not half of our limit, but half of one limit. Little bitty, you're gonna get stepped on if you're down there, buddy. We are. You can see these other crab pots out there. That's how fast we're drifting. Cooking right along. I gotta show you guys this. My wife don't like my poop deck. That's why they call it a poop deck. Actually, that's from parking it in the barn that I park it in. The birds roost up above, and I guess they think every boat should have a poop deck. That's the only thing I can figure out. Wow. I think the current is a little strong right now. The tide is ripping pretty hard. So,
you just want to pull them in.
I don't know. Either that or find a spot where it's not ripping so hard. That's the thing, in this bay, you can almost always find a spot where the tide isn't too strong to crab, but you gotta look for them. Right now out here in the main section it's pretty bad, but if you would go up to that corner there and crab on the inside of the corner, the current's going to be on the outside of the corner coming around that bend. So if you crab on the inside, you'd have still water, and there's things like that to think about. Alright, we're gonna pick these up and go home. Seaweed is bad, the wind is bad, and the current is ripping. So, but we got 2 more keepers in this one, it looks like. That's a big one there. Got at least 1. Might not have 2. But we do have 1. I'm not sure if this pot is even where I left it, but there was seaweed wrapped around the rope. Therefore, it could have been moving down along the current. This is a big one. That's a huge one there. Got a little claw. It's got 1 big one. That's bigger than the gauge. bigger than 6 1/4. So that's number 11. I'm guessing this one's a keeper too. Yep, number 12. One limit. All right, not too bad. Got a lively little eel here. Hey, hold still, buddy. There, you might be able to see him. Cool little colors. All right, let him go. He went swimming off, never hesitated. So if I don't get any more keepers, I'm gonna be sitting at $2.99 for the year. I need one more to make it an even 300, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got one more pot out. All right, last pot of the day. I need one more to break 300. One more keeper. And we got it. Look at there. Yeah, sure, let go of the claws. Juggle, juggle. That's a nice big in there. He's way big, way big. Get out of there. Yeah, buddy. Wabba, wabba, wabba. Number 300 for the year. Going in the cooler. That's a lot of crabs. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of crabs. That is 13 for today. So we're gonna clean up and get out of here. Thanks for coming along. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. Tell me if I did a good job telling you how to do this or not, and give more suggestions if you have them. And I'll come back on the next one. Hopefully you will too. See you there.